G'day peeps, Ben Futrell here from on3legs.com. Just a quick video to show you the new Topaz Clarity. I'm a real Topaz Labs fan. I've been using the Topaz filters for some time now, and although Topaz Labs makes one called Topaz Adjust 5, that's my absolute favourite. But I think this Topaz Clarity is coming close to it, and if you're one of those photographers that uses the Clarity slider in Lightroom and likes it, you are going to love Topaz Clarity. Now you can get more information on Topaz Clarity by going to topazlabs.com/clarity, and you know, they've got all sorts of examples of how it's worked here, and you know, befores and afters and things. I'm going to show you with one of my images how I use Topaz Clarity. We'll open up an image and we'll have a look in a second, but before I do that, let's just have a quick look at the pricing here. It's $49.99. Someone said to me the other day that they think these plugins are overpriced. I think that's rubbish. You know, if you would, you can't even buy filters that do this for your camera. But if you could, they're going to be more than that. You know, I know myself, for a graduated ND filter, I'm paying $100 in some cases. So, you know, for $50, you're getting a filter that does many, many things. The good news is, if you go to my site, which is on3legs.com, let me just take you there. And on the right-hand side of my website, you'll see on the home page a little box here with the Topaz products. If you click on that and use the code on3legs, you'll get a 15% discount. And by the way, with the Topaz Clarity or Topaz Labs products, if you buy the whole Photoshop plugin suite, you're going to save about $250. I think it's $299 currently for the whole suite, plus you'll get 15% off if you use that code. So, you know, you've got great savings there on great products, and you can download free trials as well if you want to try them out first. Alright, so without further ado, let's have a bit of a look at an image. So I might just go into Bridge, and I'm going to open up this one here called the Gorge. There we go. So, oops, what happened there? Let me go back to that image I just opened. Is that it there? That's the one. Okay. Must have had more than one selected when I did that. Bit of a rookie mistake. Anyway, we've got the image up here. This is called the Gorge. This is actually in a place in Tasmania that on the way down to Liffey Falls, or on the way up from Liffey Falls. Beautiful, beautiful place if you're looking for somewhere to go. Now, this image I have already processed in Lightroom and Photoshop to get it to this point, and I thought it was pretty good. And this is what I'm finding with Topaz Clarity, is I'll get an image and I'll get it to a point where I think it's okay, put it into Topaz Clarity, and it's showing me that there's a lot more that can be done. Now, I'm just going to duplicate this layer, so I've got two layers here in Photoshop, and I always do that before I use a plugin, just in case there's aspects of what the plugin did that I don't like, and I've still got my original layer to work with afterwards. And I'm going to take layer 1 and I'm going to put that through the Topaz Clarity filter. So let's do that now. Filter, Topaz Labs. You'll see I've got them all here, but we're going to use Topaz Clarity today. It's a really, really cool plugin, and this is a beta version, so not all of my presets are what they probably should be. A few things missing in here, but I've got all the landscape previews are in here, so let's use those. So as you can see, as I scroll my mouse over those presets, the little preview box is changing very rapidly. I really like that, that's good. And if I click on one of those presets, let's choose Landscape 1. There we go. Now you can see that's probably oversaturated things and made things look a little bit overdone, but that's okay, because then we've got a whole bunch of adjustments that we can use within Topaz Clarity to change it back, to put it back, you know, wind it back a little bit. The other thing I've got is I've got my original layer back in Photoshop, so I can blend them together if I need to. So let's just have a look at the before and after. So you can see on the left, a bit dull. On the right, definitely has a lot more punch, but it's probably oversaturated. Now, if we have a look on the right-hand side of the screen here, you'll see that you get these adjustments. You've got 4 levels of adjustments with your contrast. You then got tone level adjustments, so black, white, and the mid-tones. You can then do any that you like with masking, and you can choose whether to reveal or hide. You can change all the things with your brush size extra. Now, to be honest with you, the masking I find a little bit slow. It lags a bit, so I'm still a fan of using Photoshop for masking, and that's why I save that second layer, so I can make all the changes that I want to make inside the plugin, and then once I've got that into Photoshop, then I do a bit of layer masking to bring through what it is that I actually want, or eliminate any parts that I don't want. You could also, in this plugin, you have these controls for hues, saturation and luminance, so you can make adjustments here as well. And you can see though, if you think that the greens and the yellows are a little overdone, you can wind them back. Okay, so that's the yellows down a bit, bring the greens back a bit, down to saturation, same thing, greens back, maybe not that far. So you can adjust all of these things, maybe go, oh, you're too much yellow down in the rocks. You can individually make adjustments to those, and then same thing again. So once you've selected a preset, you can come through and you can change things like the contrast, and you can see that I'm really, I'm making some fairly significant changes. I'll go back to the single view. This is the thing I love about all the Topaz plugins, and it makes it real easy to look at what it was before. So that's before, and this is after. Before and after. So, you sort of start to see, okay, well, what is it I need to change? Where do I need to add more contrast? Maybe it's the black levels, get depth. So you've got all this control. Once you're happy with it, press OK. It then does its thing. It's chugging along. But I find this particular plugin really good just for adding that final bit of pop to my images. Sometimes it is about just finding that little bit of extra oomph in your images. But you can see now that that's my Topaz version and that's my original version. And I might go, you know what, I don't like all of it, so I can then use layer masking to make changes if I want to. Let's just have another look at what else have we got here. Another good example. Devil's Cauldron. Quite a cool place on the northern beaches of Sydney, Whale Beach actually. Now once again, I have done all the processing I wanted to do on this image, but let me show you. When I put this into Topaz Clarity, if we go through Topaz Labs, Topaz Clarity, things like these rocks. Now these rocks are my leading lines. Now they're leading the eye up to the sun. If I want to really make them pop and stand out, Topaz Clarity will make the water and the rocks stand out. Now that's just, I haven't done anything yet. This is just using the last settings that I had in there. And if I just press on the button up here to show you the original, that's the original, and that's the new one. Original, new one, and you can see the difference straight away. In fact, I'm not going to touch any of the sliders. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'll show you how I use then layer masking in Photoshop, because what I'd rather do, Photoshop is much quicker for the layering. You can use the masking in here if you've got patience. I don't have any patience for that type of thing, so for me I'd rather just use Photoshop. Now you can see that's my original, that's the one out of Topaz. The original, Topaz, just adds so much more contrast and oomph, but there's too much, right? There's blown out highlights in the water. And so I now grab a mask, grab a brush, set it at say 40%, and I can just go over the areas that I want to pop. So I'm just painting over the rocks. I don't know if you can see that, but because it's not a huge change, but I'm bringing through areas. If I just show you where the red is, they're the areas that I've painted with my masking. So I'm just bringing through parts of that image by painting in areas where I want it to really pop and stand out. And once I'm happy, I just press Command or Control E, and then I've got my final image. So that that was a 30-second fix-up, and it really added a little bit of oomph to that image. And this is why I love these Topaz products. So that's Topaz Clarity. So just a reminder, if you're thinking about getting into any of these, on my website, which is on3legs.com, on the right hand side you'll see this save 15% on Topaz Labs. If you click on that, it takes you through to their site where you can buy the entire package. Now you can have a look here, the Photoshop bundle's $2.99. Use the On3Legs code and you're going to save another 15%, and you can see that it's got $550 worth of value. So you save $250 plus another $40 odd with the discount code that I'm giving you. Same for any of these plugins, you're going to save the money. Topaz Adjust is another great one. If you are only going to have two of these plugins, I would go for Topaz Adjust and Topaz Clarity, although I do love the denoise, it's very, very good. Topaz Detail is very good. They're all great. So up to you, you know, what your budget is, but certainly if you can get the whole bundle, I'd go for it. You save the most amount of money and you've got a full set of filters that are going to do whatever it is you need to do to enhance your images. So hopefully that's sort of giving you a fairly in-depth idea of how Topaz Clarity, well, it's not in-depth, but a good enough idea of how Topaz Clarity works. And if you've got any questions, shoot them through, and thanks for watching.